Now, unfortunately, Phil, you're doing a great job this week. You're looking great. You're feeling great. I like all the energy happening. But unfortunately, this is a week where I'm pulling the rug out from under you, gentlemen. All right? Something has happened this week, and I need to talk about it. So I'm taking over the next couple of minutes of the show here to talk about what I've been doing in this week, because I don't really care what you guys have been doing in your weeks. All right? I do care.
Okay.
I do care. You're my best friends. I love you.
I mean, why are you even here? We might as well just meet our mics. And
gentlemen,
walk away.
Yeah.
let me start with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Huh?
Well, you have two different angles to it.
Yeah.
You care about video games and, by extension, the industry itself. Two, you care about the news cycle that comes and goes every single week.
For like the games cast stuff.
Yeah.
But why do we podcast about video games? What?
Let me give you my answer.
Yeah.
One, what Connor said, and we like to keep up with news and what's the goings on in the industry, and we like games in general. We like to play games, and secondly, because it's fun. We like talking to each other, and we like talking about video games and talking about things that we love.
I'm into that. I'm into all of these answers, guys. I like them all. All right.
He's fishing.
I'm here, me personally, to elevate the conversation, right? To bring it forward and to get us to think about games and push games to be better than they've ever been before.
How noble.
Hopefully, us three gentlemen and whoever else is on the show, those in the Twitch chat, Danish Minecraft server, Robo1700, hopefully y'all can join us on that journey. So I bring this topic forward. I bring this question forward for a very specific reason, all right? Because I've been playing video games this week. I've been playing lots of video games this week, and we'll get into that maybe if this segment doesn't take too long. We say a lot of things on these shows, right? We have lots of conversations. Some of us have hot takes. Some of us have cold takes. It is what it is, right? We have an evolving conversation about things. And because now we've done this for nearly 4 years, Connor. Nearly 4 years we've been doing this, right? 4 years is a long time. Perspectives can change. Opinions can change. Recently, I did a mini game, a hit 10, in which I had you gentlemen guess what I believed to be the top 10 worst video games that I've ever personally played. I've not played every terrible video game under the sun, but I've played a number of them, right?
I think we can all say we played some stinkers.
Well, there's been some stinkers, right? There's been some stinkers. On that list, gracing that list, was one game by the name of Kingdom Hearts. The first one, right? Mm-hmm. Phil, you called me out on Twitter.
Yeah.
You jumped in. There was a meme. There's a meme of very much like, hey, if you didn't like this, try this. And the tried this, it just said again. Mm-hmm. And people throwing their memes on top of it of like, I saw one with Mass Effect. I saw one for movies. I saw, it's just a general meme or whatever.
Well, so the main reason that even popped up for me is because like I retweeted it and tagged you was because I've just been inundated with Kingdom Hearts content ever since the hashtag going around of whenever it got ported like fully to Steam.
Yeah.
And so there was all that stuff going around.
That was
and like every fourth or fifth tweet on my timeline is now Kingdom Hearts related.
Okay.
It's locked him into that part of the algorithm.
So here's the thing. All right? I took it upon myself. I've been very critical of that first game. Very loud. You can go and watch my original thoughts on it on the After the Hype review that we did for that game 3 years ago, nearly. At this point, we did that one.
I think at this point it might be over 3 years ago.
It's somewhere around there. It's hard to tell. It's hard to remember these things, right? But, gentlemen, I just want to bring it forward. I do this for the love of the game, for the love of the conversation, and to evolve that conversation, and to continuously challenge myself in how I consume this medium, right? And so now, as far as I can count, this is the third time, gentlemen, that I've gone back and revisited a game that I previously felt didn't connect with me. And now I'm coming back to you to give you my report on Kingdom Hearts because I've been playing it once again. I did this the first time with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild when the GQ list named it the greatest game of all time. It so certainly is not. I did it again when Shadow of the Erdtree came out. I went back to Elden Ring. Not that I ever disliked Elden Ring. It just didn't click with me, right? And then it started to click with me, and I'm in the process of that journey now. I'm slow walking the dog on that one, right? Sure. And now here we are again with Kingdom Hearts. Years after I've played it, I have since played Kingdom Hearts 2, which is definitively a much better game, I think, even now.
Definitely much better put together, for sure.
Yeah, definitely much better put together. Very fun game. Pretty damn good game, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And so now I return to Kingdom Hearts 1, and because, Phil, you're not alone. There's many people who every time I say it, they come at me and they go, how is Kingdom Hearts a bad game? I don't understand. No, Kingdom Hearts is great. Kingdom Hearts is such a central part of my childhood. I love it so much. You dumb fucks. You morons. You absolute rotted brain losers on the internet who think this fucking video game is good. Now, let me calm down a little bit. Let me take a step back, all right? That was a lot, all right? That was a lot. I can see Phil, he's shaking his head right now. He's not happy with what I've just said, all right? Let me say, Kingdom Hearts 1, by far, not one of the worst video games of all time. One of the worst games I've ever played, but not one of the worst video games of all time, all right? You know? Again, haven't played a bunch of terrible games because terrible games aren't fun to fucking play. Let me start with the positive. I think this game is ingenious. I think it's creative as hell. I think it captures your creativity and makes you feel like a child again, which is great. That's a great feeling, and I love that it does that. And especially in the era that it does it in, perfect, ingenious move. Crossover, action, beginnings of what would become an action RPG, crossing over Final Fantasy, Disney characters. We're having a bunch of fun. We're visiting Disney worlds. We're doing a bunch of fun things. Let me pull it back again. I'm about 7-ish hours into the game. All right, Phil, for your knowledge, I have completed pretty much the first ring of planets that are in the game. So I've done. Okay. Well, I haven't done the Hercules.
Agrabah.
I haven't finished Hercules, but I've done. I have not visited Agrabah yet.
Oh, sorry, not Agrabah. Alice in Wonderland, Deep Jungle, and Olympus Coliseum.
Yeah, I visited Olympus, haven't completed Olympus because I need to go grind and come back to it. Traverse Town, I just finished my second visit to Traverse Town. All right? I think there are moments of fun that can be had with this game. I think there are moments where it is enjoyable. But I can't help but feel that this is an unfinished game. It is surprisingly lacking in direction, in signposting, in just navigating the player through the game. It kind of just doesn't. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. All right, now stick with me here. There will be a single line of dialogue, not spoken usually. Usually it's in the non-spoken bits. And for a kid's game, if you don't specifically tell the kid what to do, they're not fucking reading. They're kids. So I think it's baffling that they choose to do this. And it'll be like, hey, go to this one location and this one person, go find them. And then we'll give you no direction on where they could possibly be if they've moved since the last time you saw them. My key example for this is the one I just did on the second visit to Traverse Town. You have to find Leon. From Final Fantasy VIII, Connor. Leon with the gunblade.
Indeed.
You know, super iconic character. Well, hanging out with Aerith.
In his game, he goes by Squall, but in Kingdom Hearts, they call him Leon because his last name is Leonhart.
Yeah.
This game's fucking stupid. Anyways, you got to go find Squall. You got to go find Leon, all right? He is in a secret underwater cavern in which they give you no direction on how to find, where to go, or that it even exists. Zero direction. They just tell you to go find him back in Traverse Town. Go find him. You then have to go back to the last place you saw him, which was like this hotel place. Travel behind the hotel, and there is a waterway with iron bars, where there are trinities in the game, Connor, and these are like little stamps, little stickers that are plastered all over the world in their different colors. And you run up to it, you press the action button, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy do a little action, and they do the action depending on what color it is. Right now I have the blue, that's the one you start with, and I have the red trinity, which is the one needed to find Leon. The blue one is usually just like, here's a bunch of money and an item. You know, the red one is here is like you're unlocking new areas with it. The red Trinity is underwater, so it's hard to see. You can't like really see it that well. So I'm running around trying to find where the fuck do I go? I know I need to find him. I don't know where to go. I'm running around. I have to look up a guide because I'm like, there's just no direction here on where the fuck this guy is. I look up a guide. They go, hey, behind the hotel. I go, fuck, where the fuck is the hotel? I go, when I find the hotel, I go, okay, this is it. Behind the hotel. How do I get behind it? I'm walking around. There's no like clear way behind it. I go through the hotel. You got to go through and then take a back door and then jump over a balcony to do all of this. And then I'm running back and forth. I'm like, because I didn't read that I had to like where specifically the Trinity was, because I didn't want I wanted the game to tell me where things are, not the guide. You know, I don't want to play a game via guide. That's lame, especially because this game came out in 2002. So yeah. So there's no internet guides. There's no IGN guide on where to go in Kingdom Hearts. But I just gotta figure it out. You know. Eventually, I'm like, I don't know. So I look up I go back to the guide and he goes, hey, it's here. And I go, oh, okay, it's here. And I open it up and I unlock it. I go, all right, well, here it is. All right, cool, whatever. Inside this little cavern is eventually an elevator that takes you up into Merlin's house, which I had already found. I had already found Merlin's house. I was like, oh, cool, I'm here. But there's no way back. You take the elevator up, and the elevator just like it like, you know, it cuts to black because you enter a new area, and then it opens up and you're just inside Merlin's house. They don't tell you how you got there. The elevator seemingly disappears. There's no way to take it back. There's just no connection there. It's a one-way trip. To which I go, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why does this exist? Because I also had to talk to Leon again to get actual guidance on where to go next, because apparently the cutscene that played when I found him wasn't enough. I had to talk to him again. Which is just great. And then you take this, like, it's just a mess of, like, I don't know where to go constantly. Constantly, I don't know where to go. Now, is some of that on me? I don't think so, because I am really paying attention. Like, I am, like, actively reading dialogue, listening to words that are being said. I'm remembering lines and statements. I'm like trying to give it the full credit that I can here, right? Which brings me to the narrative. Now, Kingdom Hearts, not much of a narrative. Just in general. Really, there's really not even much of a plot happening in these games, right? It's just kind of a feeling. You're just kind of going off of a feeling of how things are. You know, it's not so much about what's happening. It's more about how it makes you feel. Kind of an art piece. It's honestly, in the beginning of the game, Destiny Islands, I actually was giving it a lot of credit, because it was more based in absurdism, which I found fascinating, because video games don't really play around in absurdism ever. So it was fascinating to like jump into this and be like, oh, this is an absurdism piece, until the plot enters and ruins the absurdism art piece that was happening. And then the plot enters, and now you're doing these hardcore plot things that don't make sense. But they're constantly trying to throw the absurdism back into it, but it doesn't work because absurdism, Connor, if you don't know, is where there is zero semblance of plot at all. You're just going off of emotions and thematic elements. You're not tying them together. It's not about making sense. It's about how the events make you feel, which is very much what Kingdom Hearts 1 is trying to do. And then the Disney stuff gets in the way, and then the video game-ness of it gets in the way. Is that kind of making sense what I'm saying there, Phil?
No, because I think this game's perfect.
What are you gonna do?
What's funny is he doesn't.
Yes?
He doesn't. He's just gonna pick a side, and this is where he's going with it. So there's that element of it. I don't really besmirch the fact that the plot is not really a plot at all. It's ridiculous and nonsensical, but like when the video game gets in the way of the absurdism that they're trying to do, it's annoying.
You're getting called out.
Phil's a legend. Am I getting it called out? What's happening? Kingdom Hearts 1. Tavin's actually not liking it. All right, cool. Anyways.
I didn't want to distract from what you were saying, so
no, this is fine. This is fine. Where I am gonna nitpick here or tear apart here is level design. The level design in this game, Connor, is atrocious. It is awful. It's so
crazy that you say
so
that
bad.
Because people actually prefer this level design to 2's.
Yeah, and I don't get it because I don't remember
I'm on
2.
your side in this point. I prefer 2 in every single mark.
I
This game.
I don't recall 2 having particularly great level design either, but I don't remember it being this bad. It is bad here. Now, I think what people get confused is the locations and how the locations are their first experience with these things, so they feel like it's iconic. And I think everybody gets wrapped up in their nostalgia when they talk about Kingdom Hearts. I don't think anybody looks at this game objectively like they should. With every game, I put that on every game, even the games I like from my childhood. I fucking Sly 1 isn't the best fucking video game of all time. Spoilers. No, I think the level design is specifically, like, it's atrocious. The one that, like, made me, like, switched me over from, it's not great, but it's not bad, to, oh, no, this is bad, is the Tarzan level. What is it called, Phil?
Deep Jungle.
Deep Jungle.
I also hate that level.
Deep Jungle is one of the worst crafted levels I have ever seen in my life. Because you don't know, because you have not played Kingdom Hearts 1, correct?
No.
No. Deep Jungle is basically just a big tree. And you climb up and down the tree 3 or 4 times, depending on the plot. Now, of course, Connor, this being Kingdom Hearts 1, they never tell you to go up or down the tree. Almost ever. There would be like one random throwaway where they're like, oh, I guess we have to go back up now for reason. And you go, all right, I guess we go back up. And this is my point with the game feels unfinished. It feels like they had a level that they kind of like scrambled together to put together really quickly. But they couldn't figure out how to implement the level or how to incorporate it in the combat design or just the general game design. It just feels like we have this level, we made it during our lunch break, so now let's put content in it, I guess, is how they all of them feel this way. And Deep Jungle, it's literally like, all right, I'm going down the tree. All right, I met Jane and Tarzan. Cool. All right, now it's time to go back up the tree. Why? There's a gorilla up there. All right, cool. We go up the tree. We see a cutscene happen. The cutscene has nothing to do with the scene we just saw before, and you go, all right, whatever. Also, the way you get into Deep Jungle, Connor, is you crash your gummy ship there, right? Because Donald and Sora have an argument over who gets to fly the ship, and so they crash it. So there's like this like little like cute little whatever cutscene of like the gummy ship like freaking out as they fight over the controls, and then they like it spins out as it goes towards Deep Jungle, the level, right? When you then cut to the cutscene, it is just Sora falling out of the sky. No, like, you don't know what happened to the gummy ship. You don't know how he got out of the gummy ship. You don't know if the gummy ship crashed or is broken. You don't know anything. It's just Sora falling from the sky and then landing in a treehouse.
I think it's pretty obvious that the gummy ship crashed. Sora just got separated.
Why? Yes, Phil, it's obvious the gummy ship crashed, but why? I understand.
Because they were fighting over controls.
Yes, but why is Sora out of the ship?
I think the narrative reason is just to have some time away from Donald and Goof, and then I'm not saying it's a good reason. I'm saying it's just to have him separated from Donald and Goofy, and for him to realize that he can't actually do this all alone, and he needs his friends.
Except that doesn't happen. Like, that's just not what happens. They are separated. It's just cause. They're just separated just cause. There's no narrative reason. They don't come back to it thematically of like, oh, I do need each other. In fact, Donald and Sora are still fighting after this level, and they're going to continue fighting over the course of the next 3 levels.
No, I agree.
It's just any explanation you do for the game is you doing it. It's not the game doing it. It's not the story doing it. It is you overreaching, and a general you, not you, Phil, but a general you, the player, overreaching to make these things make sense because your human brain needs them to, or wants them to. And it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Leading in to gameplay. I think gameplay is, it's okay. It's rough. It feels like a demo to what will eventually be an awesome Kingdom Hearts 2. Right? It feels like a test demo of like, hey, we got this together. This is what we have right now. It feels undercooked very much in its combat systems. It's very similar to a Kingdom Hearts 2. So if you've played Kingdom Hearts 2, it's very similar to that. It's just way less polished. I have a lot of very specific nitpicks. I'll say, Phil, I'm not having trouble with the difficulty of the game as of right now. You'll remember in our playthrough, the Alice in Wonderland boss, I remember being stuck on for quite a while, probably like an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. First tried it this time around. So it's not the difficulty that is the problem. It's just the way Sora moves, the way Sora controls, how enemy behavior, enemy AI functions, how combat patterns, hitboxes, and just general like movement just doesn't really feel good. It doesn't feel awful, but it doesn't feel good. Like, it's certainly playable, and there are certainly moments of fun in this. But it's just like kind of, it's just undercooked, like, in a lot of ways. And my way of explaining this is, it functions a lot like it's trying to lay the groundwork for what would eventually become the action RPG, right? This is the first real blending of the two genres of action game and RPG, because RPG prior to this was always turn-based menus, doing things like that. This is trying to find a middle ground in that, and it succeeds in some ways and fails in others, I think. So, of course, the combat is all built into the little menu on the side, much like how you would see in a Final Fantasy game, the little pre-baked menu. Also, consider the game came out in 2002. I grew up in this era. I know what games back then feel like and play like. Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot, which was before this game, Metal Gear Solid, things before this. I'm gonna give it. Take it. What I say here is me giving it the grace of it just being old. And I'm moving with that. Regardless, you know what I'm saying?
Tavin is the most lenient about age on this show, at least maybe compared to Phil. Not me.
I'm totally fine with a game being old and controlling a little funky, right? Even like Mario 64, which I don't think controls well with a modern lens, but you have to give it the credit you have to, because it was the first 3D game of any meaningful caliber. This game, however, I don't like the choice to make it the little menu and to mash the X button, which makes sense when you think of it as a menu, but doesn't make sense when you think of it as an action game. X should be your jump button. Button layout.
Did you know that this game was conceived as a competitor to Mario 64?
That's cool. Like,
just a factoid.
Well, yeah, I imagine every game dev wanted a video game as good as Mario 64 in this era. Like, that's the golden goose you're chasing. The button mapping is terrible. It's confusing. It's just weird. Why did we make these choices? These don't feel right. Having circle on, or having jump on circle, having attack on X, having roll on square. These choices don't make sense. And I understand square can also be guard and other moves as well as you continue throughout the game. But
can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm not saying you're wrong. To a newcomer, yes, it is very, very backwards. But when you put yourself in the mind of the X button isn't necessarily attacking. It's doing whatever's on that.
It's the menu thing. Yeah.
Menu.
I said that. It's the menu. It makes sense because it's confirm. It's the confirm button on the menu, which makes sense. But it's weird that it's a menu and you're making an action game. With the conceit of we're trying to blend genres here. And so, like, undeniably, this game paves the groundwork for what I think is one of the best combat systems of all time in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. Undeniably, this game paves the ground for that. Right? Yeah, Connor's doing his little mimi, like, yes thing going on here.
Yep.
The next thing that bothers me about it, though, is if you don't land your hit, Sora doesn't continue the combo. It's just a 3-piece combo. It's a bop, bop, bop. And if you don't hit, he stops the combo. And so it leads to moments of me getting hit or me missing entirely because he stops his combo and now the enemy moves, where if he had just done the second move or the third move, it would have hit. Or the first one hits, the second one misses, but the third one would have hit, but the second one didn't hit, so I don't even get to do the third move. Things like this are annoying. There's also no control you kind of have to feel it out. All right, but there's no control over whether or not Sora is doing a grounded attack or an air attack. Because it's all working off the same button. So the game kind of just makes the choice for you on whether Sora jumps up into the air to attack or not. You can jump up yourself and attack, and he'll do that. But it will just shoot. He will just shoot himself up and do it that way. You know what I'm saying?
When targeting a flying enemy.
Yes. But the target system sucks, Philip.
If you figure out how it works.
I understand, and this is why I'm saying,
and you can change what you're locked onto.
Yes, but why do I, the player, not just have control? Why do I have to make all of these reaches to meet the game here in ways that I shouldn't have to meet it? The controlling of the character is not something I need to meet the game on. That's something FromSoft understands entirely. Give you complete control of your character. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Sure, button configurations might be weird or unusual, but this is how the controller or how the character controls, and you control it. Here, it's the game will make choices for you based off of the targeting system. Yes, Phil, you are correct. But if you're not locked on, which most of the time I find it more effective to not be locked on, you just kind of have to feel your way out. And I'm just saying, it is something you do get used to, but in the opening hours, it's frustrating. Because it's constantly Sora doing something that I don't want him to do.
I also just wanted to say that while I don't necessarily think it's a good thing, because this example I'll get into more and why I think this is also not good. There is an ability. I don't remember if I think that you get it later on in the first game. It's an ability called Combo Master, which will you just keep hitting the button, and like you're saying, even if you don't hit an enemy, you continue the combo. Just by attaching that ability, it becomes more that way when you activate that ability and have that on your ability tray. But that goes into another gripe that I have, in that they feel this game feels that guard and dodge in an action RPG are optional abilities, and that you have to fight the entire first boss without having dodge or guard.
Yeah. It takes a while to get dodge first, and it takes a while to get there. I don't have the combo master ability yet, so yeah, it does happen later. I have dodge and guard, and I have to make the choice of which one I want to use. And then also bleeding into that, the abilities in this, Connor, if you don't know, I think it works the same in 2, right? Or in the other games as well. Yeah, you have AP action points, and you have ability points. Excuse me. You have a set number of ability points. Each ability that you unlock costs a certain number of points. It can range anywhere from 3. I think they eventually get up to 5 or 7, don't they?
They go from anywhere from 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Okay, yeah, they range anywhere from 1 to 5. I've only found up to 3 so far. I think that's correct. And then there's items you can equip to increase your AP, or you gain more AP as you level up and stuff like that. All of that's fine. All of those systems work. It was unclear to me, Phil. You only get experience through defeating enemies and countering them, yeah, or parrying them.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get they're called tech points if you parry someone will shoot a range attack and you can hit it out of the air back at the enemy for extra experience.
Yeah.
Which will help you level up faster. And then yes, by defeating enemies you get experience points.
Yeah. It didn't register for me that I don't think it was explained very well, because the way they explain it in the tutorial, it made you they put a focus on the orbs that enemies drop. And so I registered it as the green orb with the red circle around them were the experience orbs, and they're not. Those are health pickups.
It's just health, yeah.
Yeah, that's just health. So there was a minute there where I was looking at it at the number of XP to next upgrade, and I was like, well, it didn't go up as much as it should have. I picked up 12 orbs, and it only went up 2, and then it took me a little while to be like, oh, it's based off of just defeating and parrying enemies. The parry is terrible.
It's great. Actually, hang on. It's actually really great when you get a good read on an enemy and know exactly when to do it, and it feels fantastic. I'm not gonna let you slide just by saying it's terrible.
I think that only happens in boss fights. In the other 80% of the game, it just feels random.
You can parry and get those extra tech points.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, you can parry almost every enemy. But the amount of effort and learning it would take to do that it's not worth the scratch. The sniff isn't worth the scratch. You know what I'm saying?
Skill issue.
That's what I'm saying.
Skill issue. I don't know what to tell you.
I've died one time, guys, and it was only because I was fucking around with things. It's not a matter of skill. I'm not even close to dying in these.
What difficulty are you playing on?
The normal one. Not proud.
Standard.
The standard, yeah, not proud. And then also I forget how it works. I did not look up how it worked, Phil. I know the way you talk to your friends on Destiny Island changes the difficulty.
What did it say? What did it say you were beating your journey at? Did it say morning, midday, or midnight, or evening?
Huh?
You
And
talk
this
to your
guy
friends,
expects to get
and
the
there's
parry
there's
system
the
down.
disembodied voice that has all the words on the top, which is actually supposed to be Mickey. Fun fact.
Yeah, but
and
it's
it says-
it's like, what is your dream? What are you afraid of? And what matters most to you?
Yes. So there's the top, middle, and bottom answers, and then depending on what you pick, it'll say at the end, whenever it confirms your choices, that your journey begins at in the morning, that it begins midday, and that it begins at night or midnight. Something like that.
I have no idea. Does it affect the level that you then play
Yes.
in? Okay.
Well, it affects the rate at which you level up.
Okay, but is there a visual difference because it's saying your journey begins at X time? Is there a visual difference in which anything's happening, or is it just saying that?
It just says that, but the difference is if you pick the morning, you level up faster from 1 to 50, and then I can't remember the exact numbers, but the first few levels come very, very fast. Then the middle options give you just standard across the board, and then the bottom options, that's very slow early, but then towards the end it's like super fast.
Interesting. No idea. Couldn't tell you, because this kind of leads into what I like about the game, which is the absurdism of it in that early hour or two. The absurdism of it I think is really cool, and then it goes away. And then it's just a broken plot. Yeah, the way Sora controls, back to the parry, the way Sora controls in his animation and when the hitbox hits, and the timing from when his animation starts from when I pressed the button, match that with the enemy AI behavior, which doesn't seem very logical. I can't like really figure out what order enemies want to attack or use their attack moves or anything like that. Like I just can't nail down. I know what the moves look like. I can't nail down the behavior, the personality of the enemies. I think Cerberus in the Hercules, the Coliseum. Yeah, that fight sucks. Did it in my first try. Again, not bad, just bad game. I'm being whatever.
Yeah, you are. You're being whatever, but it's okay.
But like that's a point of he just kind of randomly did his moves. It didn't feel like he was acting based off of my actions. It didn't feel like he was acting based off of what his health is like, other than he unlocks more moves as his health gets lower, of course. He starts doing, different moves and stuff as his health gets lower.
He does them in like different orders and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, usually when you fight a boss, you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm this distance away from the boss. I just did this move. He just did that move. Usually that means he'll do one of three things, right? Like you kind of just catch the feeling off of that. If I'm this far away from Cerberus, surely he won't snap his jaws at me because I'm too far away. Surely he'll shoot the fireballs at me. No, he'll snap his jaws. Just because I don't know. And then he'll do his weird purple magic twice in a row. I don't know why. He just chose to do his weird purple magic twice in a row, and then he shoots fireballs at me when I'm right on top of him, and he should be snapped. Like, these are the things where I'm saying these things are half-baked. The enemies are doing random moves at random times. They're not, there's no game logic to them. It feels like a demo version of this boss before they get to the final version, but they ran out of time to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying conceptually.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
I play Tavin.
You're a gamer.
I'm fighting against the final boss in the Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC.
Yeah.
He does that all the time. Just pulls out shit. And
pulls out shit, and you go, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that."
But then he'll do like the same thing again, and it's like, "Oh, you're just doing it."
Okay,
again.
but he's got a long arcing jump move.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a big long jump move. He's probably not going to do the jump move if you are right next
It's only
to him.
particular moves. Like half of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my point. He'll probably do his more like stomp the ground type moves, right? If you're right next to him. Yeah, Cerberus.
Tavin, I challenge you to fight Mesmer and tell me that any of his logic and what moves he decides to pull out makes sense.
I found they made sense. Of course, I had better luck with that boss than most people did. So,
and it's not a matter of like me getting hit. Most of the time, I'm not getting hit. I'm just looking at him going, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" Like just like objectively, you should not be doing that if you want to beat me. You know. I'm trying to remember the time I died because it wasn't in a boss fight that I died. I don't remember.
Well, Tavin, we're currently almost 40 minutes into this discussion
I can
here,
fucking talk.
and I haven't even finished introing the show.
before you do that, Legane, thanks for the follow. You deserve the trash talking.
Thank you, Legane.
Yeah, like to do the trash talking.
We get back to the skill issue. That's the Vitmanicopium.
It always is.
Again, I don't think we're looking at this objectively, guys. Like I think you grew up on this game and you're just in the camp of the game is great because you know it. Looking at it objectively and taking your personal experience away from it, the game is bad at explaining its systems.
That being
You missed the
said,
part where Legane said that he never played the game either. So
he's just saying he's shit talking.
You're basically comparing milk and beer. That's not what I'm saying. You totally missed what I was saying there. All right.
What does that say?
Legane, thank you for the follow. Thank you for engaging in the conversation. But you are totally missing what I said.
I mean, I think he was talking what I said.
You brought up Dark Souls and you were talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, for a very specific thing. I'm not, like, obviously Dark Souls and Kingdom Hearts are different games, obviously. And this is my point of, like, why do we have these conversations, is to elevate the way we think about it, right? Is to, like, let's get past just, oh, this game like that game. Like, let's really dig deep into systems and why these things work, why they made the things the way they are, like, and then we can compare these elements and how they're done from other games. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts and Dark Souls are not the same fucking video game. But from a design perspective, FromSoft knows what they're doing. This team back in the day didn't. But they tried, and they were being experimental, and I appreciate that.
And it probably worked for the second one.
It did work for the second one.
Worked very well.
It worked very
probably,
well.
Connor, that's the one that you did play.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess you would have, yeah.
I promise you, the toddler would not make it out of Traverse Town.
I did. I wasn't necessarily a toddler, but, you know.
Thank you.
He says that. He says that.
Negating the point. Exactly.
I'm going to give my kids Kingdom Hearts, and they're going to love it.